Hello and welcome to day 4 of me locking myself in a room and making a music video. I just replaced a washing machine and now I'm back to make this video for you. It's 11 quick tips for production and I think it will be interesting. So tip number 1 is a plugin I always use. It's called Endless Smile and it's one knob that controls delay, reverb and low cut, and it's great for making drops. So all it does is wash out all the noise, and then when your drop comes in it sounds bigger than it did before. It sounds like this. Number 2 is if you're trying to write quickly, just use a pre-made drum kit, and then after that take all the MIDI files and replace them with drums you actually like. That way you can get a beat going on for when you need to create it, and then at a later point you can get the sound you really need. This is a comparison of just a normal 909 kit and then replacing the drums with it after. Tip number 3 is quite a common one, but I think it's useful if you haven't heard of it. If you're getting little clicks in your audio, put a small fade at the start of the clip and the end of the clip. Because all that little click is you cutting in the middle of the waveform going up like that, and so it pops, it causes a click in the computer. By putting a fade in, you silence that click. Tip number 4 is, if your kick's sounding a bit dull and you don't really like it, put an exciter on. It's a form of saturation, and all it does is add click into the mid-end and the top end, and it can make it punch through your mix. Here's a comparison of before and after. It's so weird because I don't actually have the comparison going now. I'm going to edit it in post, so I'm just saying here's a comparison and then looking you dead in the eye. Tip number 5 is if your snares are sounding really crap, saturate them at around 300 Hz, 2500 Hz and 7500 Hz. I've got that written on my desk there. Now, it's give or take, but it can make a world of difference adding a bit of saturation there. It takes a snare that sounds like this to a snare that sounds like this. Tip number 6. Almost every single track you play will not need the noises above 10k, apart from some where you really want them to occupy that range. The noises above 10k are incredibly thin, tinny and harsh on the ear. If you're using pianos or voices or strings, none of them should be blowing up that area. The only thing that should really occupy it are hi-hats and cymbals. If you're stuck in a song, change key. It can make you hear the song completely differently. So here's the song at the original key. And here's it pitched down 3. It makes a complete difference. If you're struggling to start writing, try just throwing in some sustained notes or some environmental noise. Instead of just starting on a blank sheet, it gives you something interesting to work with, and it makes what you write sound less alone in the mix. And my final tip is a broader one. It's to think of everything you have in your track as both rhythmical and melodic. Now, I know that sounds kind of obvious, but I bet when you're making your drums, you don't think of the pitch of the snares and the kicks. If you take your bass line and think of it as an extra tom or a percussive element, you're going to get music that bounces together with a stronger rhythm. And if you think of all of your drums as part of the melody, when you listen to the meta melody, when you listen to the whole thing, people who haven't produced the song and aren't hearing it as intricately as you are actually hear, then you'll get a better groove together. I hope all of that really helped, and I hope it was interesting. If it was, please subscribe or like or any of that jazz. In the last few videos I've released a couple of songs on SoundCloud. If they get 10 comments I'm going to upload them to Spotify. So if you found these tips interesting and want to hear the music that I use the tips to make, then go ahead and listen over there. There'll be a link below. Thanks for watching. Give it to us.